What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Supper in a Can. We're back at Valdoro in the Trongy, and I'm joined by this week's very special guest, the real Tam Spraggins, Chris Toal. Welcome to the show. Now, Chris, without further ado, let's get a munch.
Just ride with it, like, go and get live with it.
Well, Chris, welcome to Supper in a Can. It's a pleasure to have you on. We've not had the pizza crunch in a wee while. It's a change up because it used to be my favourite. Do you know what I mean? It used to be my go-to. Until I tried some battered sausage.
No.
I was changed for life.
Well, once you try sausage, you know you never go back.
Some say. Some say. So, to start us off, is a story that I only found out last night that I think is probably one of the...
Sprung on me here.
The way I'd say it, I think it's one of the most bucket list things. Like, when people were writing their like classic bucket list, this would be on it.
Right.
You smoked a joint with Snoop Dogg.
I have, yes.
How does that even come about? How does one do this?
I'll tell you how it came about, right? So, excuse me, we were at Snoop Dogg's gig, and it was in the Grappling Academy as it was at the time. And we were just standing at the side of the crowd, and I'd had a few bevies, and I seen this big guy. He was massive, right? I'm not exaggerating. He was about 6'6", and he was as wide as he was tall, big black guy, right? And I was like, he must be with Snoop. I just got it into my head, he must be with Snoop. So I went over to him and I was like, me and you could put a better show on than this big man. And he's like, why don't you tell it to Snoop? And he's like, just basically took me backstage, man. But we walked across the, like, in between the barrier and the stage, and Snoop kind of stopped his song and bent over and shook my hand. He's like, what's up, little man? I'm like, Snoop, what's happening, man? So we went backstage and I went into his dressing room. And mate, you couldn't see 2 feet in front of you. It was just like a big...
There's a photo, is there not, of you and him?
There's a photo, right, but the room's that smoky that the photo's terrible, man.
Is that the first you've done such thing? Have you partied with any celebrities? Big names?
Over the years, there's been quite a few, man.
Who are some of the biggest names?
You know, do you watch MMA? UFC? No.
The big ones?
Aye.
Not like...
I went out, there's pictures of it as well. Chocolate, have you heard of Chocolate?
So, I was actually going to talk to you about that, because that's what Mark Dallas had mentioned to me, that you and him had a good friendship going.
I wouldn't say it's a friendship, man, but I've been in his company a few times, but it was at a part, we went to a UFC show down in the Millennium Dome, the O2 Arena in London,
Right.
and we went to this after party, and he was hosting it, and there was funnels in him there, man, like Bruce Buffer was there and stuff like that, and there's a photo of me, absolutely blazing, sitting on the back of the couch, and it's me, Chuck Liddell, Bruce Buffer, and Chuck Liddell's missus at the time. And I showed him it the next time I seen him, I showed him, I was like, do you remember that night? He's like, I do remember that night. And then he went, well, that's my ex. And I was like, oh, better not fucking tag you in it.
Couldn't post that anywhere.
Get you into bother with the missus, but he's hanging me. That was a good man.
How did you start with ICW?
Well, when I first started with wrestling, it wasn't with ICW, it was with, you know, Greg Campbell for...
Yeah.
Right, so him and Rob Florence were doing a wrestling show in Oran Moor, and it was called Oran War. And my friend from work messaged me, he's like, I know you've got an interest in the wrestling, I've got a spare ticket for us, do you want to go to it? I says, aye. So I went along that night, and I loved it, man. I was like, this is good fun. And it was Rob Florence and Greg Campbell in the main event, and we were fighting and all that shit. Right? And so after it, I had like, been talking to Rob a fair bit through Twitter. And
I'm trying to get him on this.
And he messaged me, he was going to Hamilton Races, and I was going to Hamilton Races that day as well. It was my mate's stag do. So went to Hamilton Races and got a tap on the shoulder, and it was Rob. And that was the first time that we'd met. We'd spoke over the internet and stuff, but we were talking away, and he was saying that he was going to be doing another wrestling show. I was like, oh, alright, that'll be good fun. So Hug Marie came, and I just put out a tweet saying Happy New Year on my followers and stuff like that. And not even 2 minutes later, I got a DM for Greg Campbell. We're doing a wrestling show. It's going to be in Kelvin Hall, and it's going to be the last ever event in the Kelvin Hall. And Kelvin Hall's been the venue for so many like boxing championship matches and stuff like that. So the big thing, Greg says, I want you to be my bodyguard on the show. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Right, so I started going to more like independent wrestling shows just to get
A feel of it.
Like, feel it, figure out who the wrestlers were and stuff like that. And I kind of started to become friendly with a few of them, Dallas mainly. But, so I've decided, fuck it, in for a penny, in for a pound, I'm going to do it, I'll go on to it. So we went on to the show, and Dallas came up to me after it, he's like, well, before it, sorry, he's like, if you do well here tonight, then there might be a place in ICW for you. And then it just went for there, and I ended up in wrestling for 10 years, man, over 10 years. But I don't do it as much anymore. I only do Grado's shows, and we've got a show coming up actually on the 30th of March. It's in Brayhead Arena.
Wow.
So 5,000 capacity.
Is that? I think I've seen clips of Grado's fighting something, didn't he?
Yeah, Grado's fighting Big Demo.
Yeah, I have seen that.
This is an exclusive actually. I'm going to be in Grado's corner, so you've got Dallas and Demo.
Yeah, that's right.
And me and Grado. And man that's going to be the enforcer outside is Chris Bungard, who's an MMA.
Wow, yeah, I know he is.
So, he's
That's class.
Should be fun. You'll see straight away. That's it. Don't get it on my bit, man.
No, don't worry.
I'll lift that off.
Were you always like a big wrestling fan then when you were younger? Were you into it?
Always, man. Always when I was a kid. Like, right. I remember the first time I ever seen wrestling. I was down in my auntie's in Blackpool, and she had Sky or whatever. And no, she didn't. She took us to the video shop, and my cousin picked WrestleMania 6. And it was Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior. I was like, holy shit, man. It's like superheroes. That's what it was like. As a kid, you're looking at it and you're like, these are two legitimate superheroes just going head to head. And obviously at the time you don't know that it's all smoke and mirrors and what have you, but I loved it. And we were out the next day, and funnily enough, one of the wee shops in Blackpool had a t-shirt with the cover of the video on it, and I got that, and then just from then on it was just ingrained into me. But I always liked the heels, I always liked the bad guys.
Oh really?
I was never a big fan of the happy-go-lucky, fucking friendly faces. Do you know what I mean?
You like the nitty-gritty?
I like the bad guys, man. Guys that will hit you and then run away.
What about the most recent Royal Rumble then? I've
What
seen
about
that the Open Go boys, they thought that you were going to come out. Did you see that?
I was a late cancellation. I was far too drunk because I was away seeing Total before the Royal Rumble.
Do you still keep up to date with it then?
Well, my boy's right into it.
Class.
So
What did you see?
He's 16. So, and by the way, absolutely despises you. Do you
Really?
want to know why? Because he had the idea for this podcast years ago. Legitimately, he had the idea for this podcast. He's like, you tell him he's a snake.
That's mad.
These chips are good, man.
It's an underrated chippy, someone say. What's your favourite chippy? Do you know how
My
good?
favourite chippy's Sandro's and Coatbridge, mate.
Shout them out.
Sandro's, the best chippy in Coatbridge, by a distance.
What makes them so special?
Mate, they've been there since the invention of the fucking potato. They've been there for a long, long, long time, and it's been the one family that's had it all the time, man. Tell me this, have you tried a deep fried onion pizza?
What's that?
No. It's like, that's right, without the batter. But it's cheese and onion pizza rather than just cheese. Right, and Grado and Stephen and I had an absolute fucking argument about this over Christmas time. Grado says it's the best thing that you can get out of the chippy.
False.
I just don't like onions, so I don't try it, but me and Stephen were totally against it. And the best thing that you can get out of a chippy is a good fish supper, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm not a big fish guy. I love the sausage. Well, talking about your podcast, first of all, what's it like being the only Celtic fan? Do you get a bit of stick off them?
Aye, but I give them just as much as I get. But a lot of people say that I kind of sit on the fence, but no, really, to be honest with you, I kind of...
People always say that about Slaney, he gets that quite a lot.
I don't sit on the fence. What happens is I give my actual opinion, and
it gets
because a lot
edited
of the, no, but because a lot of the time it's maybe not through green tinted specs, folk are critical of me. But you know, I don't know. It's just that's what it is. You're never going to be able to please everybody, but we've got a good following, and it's fun to do it as well. It's just like sitting in the pub with your mates having a chat. You know?
What made you start it? Like you three specifically?
Well, it was originally Football Daft.
Right.
Grado done Football Daft with Ewan Cameron, and Ewan Cameron decided that he was leaving Football Daft, so they brought in another presenter, and it never gelled.
Right.
So they wanted to do a full relaunch, So Grado and Stephen have been mates for years, and he asked Stephen to do it with him, but then he's like, it's going to be 2 Rangers fans, we need to get a Celtic supporter. And I think I was the only one that he knew. I think I was the only one that he had the phone number for. And originally I thought he wanted me to be on it as a guest. I was like, aye, no bother. And then he was like, well, this is how it's going to work, we'll be doing every week, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, you want me to actually be a host on it? He's like, aye, I says, aye, alright. But I'd never done anything like that before. But our first episode was Barry Ferguson, and I made a clip to him. He was talking about the Rangers squad flying back from Inverness to Glasgow, and I says, flying from Inverness to Glasgow, you can't hide that EBT money, can you? Right, and it was just his face and all of that, and I went, do you know what, I think I might be no bad at this, we'll see what happens. But it went from there, and then G4 get involved with us, and they asked us if we'd like to start a podcast with him, and we decided to go for it. And
they have a very big like podcast presence, don't they? Because
G4,
they've got the studio.
Well, they've got the studio. It's got 2 fantastic areas in it. It's got one upstairs and one downstairs. They look completely different, so it can give you a totally different atmosphere for depending on what your podcast's going to be. They've got us, they've got Leathered, which is Paul Craig and Ross Cooper. They've got a live show coming up as well. The 29th of March.
Are you involved in that?
I'm hosting that. Aye, so
Class.
that'll be fun. They'll get some good guests coming on as well, so it should be good fun. They'll get
NAB.
Oban Elliott, who is up and coming star just now in the US. He's a Welsh guy, and I can see him going to the top. Legitimately, so getting to be able to do that. So getting to speak to him when he's on his ascent is going to be pretty cool. Originally we were supposed to have Chris Duncan, who you've interviewed.
Hero, the
problem.
pickled onion king. You got 10.
He got 10. I think we need to get you to do that at the end of this episode.
No, during the episode. I mean,
During the episode, alright.
It's a wee break.
They've been great with us as well, man. It's a great wee team, you know. It's like Nicole, who's the top kiddie in G4, she's a big driving force behind the podcast as well. And we've got Grant and Greg and Craig, and there's been a few that have came and gone as well, that have helped get us to where we are. So it's a great unit, it's a great team, and we don't always agree all the time, but it's very amicable. You know, there's no you said this, well, you can go and take a run and jump to yourself kind of thing. It's kind of amicable. If we have any disagreements, then it gets spoken out rather than anybody taking any huffs or anything. So it's a great place to work, man.
I like it. Well, another wee fact that I know about you is that you used to own 2 pubs.
I did. Well, I owned one pub, my dad owned the other one.
Where were they?
In Coatbridge. My pub was called 24. It was originally Enigma. Imagine what a block, right? So my dad's pub was in this corner and my pub was in this corner, and it was up a wee hill. So if there was any issues in it, I just used to be able to go down and get my dad. But it was great fun, but the smoking ban kind of ruined the pub game, man.
What do you mean?
What age are you?
18. Well, actually, I'll be 19.
You're too young to even know that you used to be allowed to smoke in pubs, right? But they brought in the smoking ban, and everybody that would go out to the pubs decided, well, if I can't smoke, I might as well just get my carry out and sitting in my house. So it just pulled the arse right out of the boozer game back in the day.
So would you not do it again now?
It's more trouble than it's worth, mate.
So, like, from me, right, the first time that I ever seen you was the famous Scot Squad clip.
Every fucking 5 minutes of my life.
Is that what you got the most then?
Oh, well, no. No, do you know what? It's probably not. It's definitely up there, but I don't know if you know about this, right? But me and my mate Neil, who's the wee man, we done the world's worst pedo. Have you never heard it?
Yeah.
No. Right, so,
The world's worst pedo.
right, so basically, Neil, you would not get away with this now. No chance you would get away with this now, right? But it's on YouTube if any of you want to look it up. But I don't suggest typing that into the search bar. But it's basically about this guy who thinks I'm a kid. Right? and he's chasing me about. Right? He's not actually a pedo. That's the thing. The way I see it is, he's trying to be my pal, right? But I've got no time for him, right? And that's what I get. One of the sketches that we done for it was he came up to me and he says, "Do you want a Geely man?" Right? And that line itself, I must get it easily about 10 times a week or something like that. See if I go down to Coatbridge Main Street and it's the schools are out for lunch, it's a nightmare, man, honestly. But getting back to what you were saying there about Scot Squad, it definitely is. It's in the country's zeitgeist now, isn't it? You know, like, walking down the street, Jordan must get it.
So that's what I was thinking, like, as much as you'd get that, because you're not, because
yes,
you're not
I fucking
Shagger,
am,
do you know what I
sir.
mean?
You've
He
obviously
would-
never met my missus.
he would he would get it. Jimmy Poole would actually say it to him, and it's funny because in like, was it lockdown? I can't remember when I first seen it. When was it? It was what, 2017, I think.
Oh, it's a while ago.
It was ages ago, but when I'd first seen it on TikTok, it would have been like 2020. So it was like right before lockdown, and me and my pal Finlay like would find it really, really funny. And I always thought that he kind of looked like that guy.
Like Jordan.
So on Snapchat, I've still got it saved, like his name on my Snapchat is Shagger, but just purely just from that meme. So I was looking at it this morning, I was like, oh mate, that's mad.
And that's funny
But-
because that all came from my audition. So it did, like, do you know Darren Connell? You should get Darren on this. Darren's good. Darren, I contacted him because he was in the Scot Squad. I was like, I've got this audition tomorrow. You get any suggestions for me? He goes like, just make up a character, go in, and don't go out of character. I was like, right, no bother. So, excuse me. I went in and I sat down and the director and the writer were sitting with you. I was like, alright Shaggers, what's happening? That's what I said, and straight away Joe Hewlett, who's one of the writers, or the main writer for Scot Squad, the creator of Scot Squad, he started laughing, and I was like, you know what, I was like, right, I've got him, kind of thing. And it just went through there, and basically they asked me about a time when I'd get myself into trouble, and I was like, well, I was standing in the queue in a shopping, a supermarket, and sure enough, that's the sketch that he wrote. He wrote the sketch for the story that I told him. So
it was real life.
Well, it wasn't real life, I made it up.
Then I seen that you like made a TikTok then, after it all. How come you went on TikTok before?
Right, the reason why I made the TikTok, and my name on most like social media is Crystal, or I am Crystal, right? So many people made so many TikToks of me. I was like, right, wait a minute, there's fucking money involved in TikTok. I was like, I may as well get the money, you know what I mean? So I made at the real Tam Spraggins. I don't know why I done it. I still don't know why I done it, but it was. I think I maybe need to change that actually. I'd say now that I'm more recognised for the podcast than I am for anything else.
Yeah.
Which is wild when you think about it, you know.
Right guys, welcome back to Gio's Onion Challenge. Now this time, our contender has become the host, and I have become the contendee. So, Chris,
How long do you get here?
60 seconds.
60 seconds. If you can't do you like pickled onions? Who knows? Have you ever had a pickled onion?
Yeah, I have them all the time, but
So you do
I've
like
not
them?
tried. No, but I've not tried them consecutively. I've not had this many pickled onions in my mouth.
It's not like, would you rather eat 5 wee ones and one massive pickled onion?
5 ones every day.
Well, there you go then.
So I've got 60 seconds. As we all know the rules,
Right, give me
I
a
can only
second.
have one in my mouth at the same time.
Oh.
Just that top one.
One in your mouth at the same time.
Oh. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Am I allowed to drink on it now?
What time?
You have plenty of time, don't we? I'm not even going to tell you. I'll tell you when it stops, right? But I'm not going to tell you how long we've got left.
Chewy skin, man.
That's what Hannibal Lecter used to say. Ah, chewy skin.
That whole no.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. That's not bad. So, Chris Duncan done 10 of them in that time.
Yeah. Damn.
That's
4's good, but
4 is good.
I'm setting a standard then. Mate, I'm sweating. Fuck. James, update the leaderboard. We'll put me and Chris as a duo, because it was a joint attempt.
Ah, mate, I don't like onions. I don't like them. I don't like them.
Continue with the episode. Do you like it though? Do you like getting recognised, or does it bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. It's like, see, recently I was in Burger King. This is going to make me sound like a complete arsehole, right? I was in Burger King, and you know you need to order on the screens now. It wasn't working, right? And I was standing for about 10 minutes, and this guy was sitting at a table, just no food or anything, just sitting at a table. And eventually he came up and went like, "Can I get a photo with you?" I went like, "No, no, mate." It was just a reaction, do you know what I mean? I was like, "No, no, mate," because I was that frustrated with this fucking machine. And I felt terrible for days after it, man. I felt terrible. So it doesn't bother me in the slightest.
I thought you were going to go, and then we got him on the podcast, and we brought him in.
Now he lives with me. I love it because it's 99% of people that come up to you are nice. They're really nice, you know what I mean? But don't get me wrong, there's the odd crackpot. That's to be expected. You're in Scotland, you know what I mean? It's
Keeps you on edge.
the west of Scotland especially. Aye, but it's good fun. I love it. I don't get anywhere near as bad as a big one, Grado. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
I heard a rumour that you were almost in Big Brother.
I was, yes. I was away in hiding. They took me away and put me in hiding and everything before it. They took me to France. Took me to a wee place in France called Honfleur. It's a wee fishing village. And they gave me a chaperone. So, aye, that was fun. And I never found out that I wasn't going on it until the day before the show started. Phoned us, and then like it was on the Friday. No, it was on the Thursday, sorry. On the Friday the show started, and then on the Saturday it was the Scottish Cup final, and I was delighted that I was getting to watch the Scottish Cup final. You know what I mean? But it's just one of the things, you know, like I'm a great believer in if it's meant for you, it'll not go by you. And if I had have been on to Big Brother, I wouldn't have had the pub for a start, because the weekend that I come back was the weekend that pub went up for sale.
Alright.
And I met my son's mum in that pub, so I wouldn't have my boy.
Everything happens for a reason.
Which is it, aye. And you wouldn't have an enemy.
So, you recently stole the show on New Year's Eve with your Susan Calman impression.
Mate, I'm the king of Hogmanay, what can I say?
Did you help come up with that skit then?
No, it was written for me by Greg and Rab. It's Greg and Rab that run Queen of the New Year show. So they wrote it for me. I was in it a wee bit more this year than I had been the past 2 years, but it got a lot of good feedback. Aye. Tam Cowan says I saved Hogmanay. Aye, that's it. Hopefully I'll get one of the wee talking head things for next year, like Grado gets with Ginger Hands.
What's that?
He was on ITV when I was on BBC One, so it was like
Oh really?
it was like the Monday Night Wars
The clash.
all over again. But aye, it was good fun. I've been part of that show for the past 3 years, and it's a great group of people. There's so much talent coming through just now, like Stephen Buchanan.
So
Get Martin Quinn.
I was literally about to say I was with Martin yesterday.
Martin is one of my
hero.
favourite people.
Martin Quinn, one of the best guys ever.
He really is. Aye, he's a good boy.
He's a really, really lovely guy.
So we've got him. We've got Paul McCall, who's been a mainstay of Scottish comedy for years. Louise McCarthy. You know, it's a great like nucleus of talent there, and it's the fact that they've got the fucking 2 Scottish comedy legends writing for them. You know, you're always going to get your naysayers as you do. Folk will slander it and slate it and stuff like that, but my response to them is, you fucking write something. You know what I mean? You write something.
Well, before we go, if you get anything you want to plug, any promotions,
I do actually.
let them know.
Right, so we've got our live show coming up at the Pavilion on 22nd?
March.
22nd of March. It's an international weekend and it's almost sold out, so if you're thinking about going, get yourself there. That's me, Grado and Stephen, live podcast, Pint and 2 Shots. I've got Clan Wrestling coming up on the 30th of March at Brayhead. I've also got Grado's Big Family Wrestling Bash at the Pavilion. Suppose I better fucking plug that and all. And just, I don't know, just keep an eye out. Anything that I'm...
Where can they find you? But what's all the ats across social media?
I am Chris Toal on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter any longer. TikTok at the real Tam Spraggins. There we go.
Well, Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure, man.
Pleasure, thanks very
We'll
much.
see you next week. God bless.
Just ride with it, like, go and get live with it. Niggas don't like me cause I'm nice with it. And the girl gets hyped to it, neck deep in when I'm